This story starts with a horror story, but it has a happy ending. Let me explain. This is a really rare and fairly expensive bottle of Blanton's. This is straight from the barrel. He was the kind of guy that discovered this back in the, late 80s, early 90s when bourbon was really on its way out. And Blanton decided to select the honey barrels to bottle specifically. I'll let you see the label there. And the awesome horse. This is very famous for Blanton drinkers, is to save the horse. But just a beautiful representation. So here's what happened, and this is why this is a horror story. So I used to store my bourbon under the table in the vault in the Winnebago Travato. Cool space. It was empty space, so I put a bunch of really nice bourbons in their boxes that I found in St. Martin on a cruise, and I stored them down there for, a special occasion. In April 2023, I was rear-ended in Fort Worth, Texas, and the power of the impact caused this bottle to break open the seal. It doesn't have a good seal to start with, but the seal actually broke. And what I didn't realize, because I have a bathroom mat carpet with the foam backing, kind of sealed that vault, and even though half of the bottle leaked out, I didn't smell it because it was sealed in. So my van, Miss Lily, drank half a bottle of this Blanton's. But wait, it gets worse. This bottle, having discovered that half of it was gone, I put it up here with the rest of my collection, which I've now emptied out, and it would sit like, right here. But because I didn't have the collection stuffed tightly so bottles wouldn't move, when I got back from a trip to the Chicagoland area, the van was parked in Denver. I came back to Denver, got in the van, I was headed to a harvest hose site, and I put my windows down. I kept smelling this odor. I couldn't quite figure out what it was. I get a little strong whiff of bourbon. I'm like, what is that all about? So when I got to my harvest hose site, I came back here, and the bottle had tipped over like that. This didn't fall out, but it had come off enough that the rest of this bottle had leaked out. The bottom of my cabinet was covered in bourbon and actually dripped down onto my mattress, stained the sheets, had to throw those away. And that entire bottle of bourbon, what I was able to get is literally a shot out of this. I almost licked the bottom of the cabinet. Yes, you're right. Because this, again, is a super special bottle of Blanton's, and I literally had one taste of the whole thing. Will I ever find one again? Probably not, without spending a gazillion dollars. So this was dumped on October 13, 2015. So that's kind of the horror story. Here's my recommendation. If you're gonna have a large liquor cabinet, make sure the bottles are really tight and don't rattle around. The other thing that I'm doing now is I thought it'd be kind of cool and put them in a decanter. These are really heavy. It just adds extra weight. And I think a lot of the magic of bourbon is the label, right? To the craftsmanship of the label. Some of these bottles are really ornate. They put a lot of time into the art of the bottle itself, into what's inside. Probably one of my most decorated bottles is this one right here. And this comes out of Texas. This is Garrison Brothers. Metal star, blue wax, steel band around it, hand, you can see right there barely. They're hand labeled. So again, just really, I think a lot of the art is on the outside of the bottle. And fortunately, I do have some Blantons left, which is great. Not the original, that particular bottle, obviously. I do have one other, oh, there it is. That's unopened. So I just choose very carefully the bourbons. But let me kind of show you how I catalog this, how I know what I need to buy. First thing I want to show you is that on my iPad, obviously, in the Reminders app from Apple, I actually keep a shopping list for bourbon. Why? So that when I run out of something that I really liked, I want to buy it again. These would be some examples right here. These are generally hard to find, so when I go to some place that has a bourbon section, I see if these are in stock. The next thing I do is I try and keep a whiskey log separate from a bourbon log. So what I do here, this is Uncle Nearest 1886 Premium Whiskey. It's made in Tennessee, and I give it a star rating where I purchased it. There's the distiller website, a little bit of history on it, how much I paid for it, where did I find it, Total Wine in Houston, Texas, in March of 2023. What's up with that date? And then I do the same with bourbon. Now, I'm been meaning to log these as I go, but I'm kind of get behind. But some of these, like Breckenridge, if you haven't tried this one, I just love to use Apple Notes. I categorize it by state. So all of the Colorado bourbons are going to be starting with a CO for Colorado. So I can, at a moment, just search, and this will pop right up. Again, bottle shot, star rating, a little bit about it, where I discovered it, including the price if I can get that. There it goes. And this is the way I really love to roll with my bourbon log. You're right. It's quite a haul. Let's count them, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 bottles of lovely bourbon. Which one's your favorite? I've got 2 bottles of Blantons. That's pretty special. Collecting the horses, right? This one I just discovered recently. So delicious. This was a Harvest Host. Pretty good. I just discovered this one. Where are you hiding? Wild Turkey. I'm looking for you. Wild Turkey. Right here. Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Oh yeah, that was really, really nice. Discovered that in Kankakee, Illinois. And I have a bottle of Wild Turkey 12-year. Which brings me to, why do I have such a big bourbon collection? So that I share it with you. When we get together for our Van Breeze campouts, I call them Van Breeze, I bring out several of these bottles and we do some tastings. And I've gotten a little bit of a following now. I've actually got audience angels bringing me a bottle when we get together, and we share. That's the whole point of van life to me, is we learn, we share, you decide what's best for you. If you're a bourbon aficionado like I am, I actually discovered bourbon through van life travel. And I just want to share back. And many of you, including maybe Frisco Tea, have discovered they have a little taste for the bourbon as well through our discovery and sharing. It sure be a delight to have you join me on our Roundups. That's when we get together for a few hours at a certain place, or at a Vanbury campout, or even at a caravan where we go from one point to another point in our vans and then do a little celebrating, maybe with some bourbon. I don't know. What do you think? And that's what we do. We just do fun things like that together at campouts, Vanburys. We actually have a bourbon fire, I call it. That's where we get a bunch of bottles put around and we put our glowing lights on it, and allows people to taste, experience, share the stories. Where did I find this? What do I like about it? What I don't like about it? You tell me the same things. And that's what this is all about. Discovery. I am not in my 5th year of full-time travel to try and save a bunch of money. I'm doing this to explore and take in as much as I can, share it back out with you, and you can join me along for the ride. So hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know what your favorite bourbon is. We're doing the Kentucky Bourbon Festival in September 2023, and I'm doing the Bourbon Trail the same month, because I'm spending most of September 2023 in Kentucky. So if you're into Kentucky history, there's a lot of it. Some of it not too pleasant, by the way. If you like bourbon, or if you like anything around places, band tips, band products, you saw my bike, right? Have you seen that video? Then you don't want to miss a single video. Give us a thumb up, subscribe to the channel. We're growing like crazy, and I sure do appreciate you watching. We'd like to say, journey on, and peace be with you. Sadly discovered another casualty of the car crash. This was in the under table storage cabinet. and was laid in such a manner that I think when the guy hit me, it split the opener here, the seal. And so half of the bottle of this Blanton's has... Apparently Lily's been drinking it.